we want to talk about the a lot of people think that buy here, pay here is a bad thing. In reality,
it's a necessary thing.
Yeah, it's more of a necessity. Obviously, it's the last chance that you have to finance a vehicle, but it's also got good things, you know?
Right.
Because a lot of people think, oh, my buy here, pay here is not going to help my credit. You know, I'm just going to be paying and the payments will not get reported and all that. And in most of the cases, it's actually not true.
Right.
And here's the thing, you know, a lot of the buy here, pay here dealerships, they do have a portfolio of so many, you know, buy here, pay here accounts that after a while, usually 6 months, a year, they'll get sold. The whole portfolio will get sold to another bank, to an actual bank, finance institution. When that happens, it is very likely that the payments will get reported
to the credit
to the credit bureaus.
Right.
So like I said at the beginning, you know, buy here, pay here, they might eventually start reporting to your credit. Not 100% sure, you know, not 100% of the time, but high probabilities that it will.
Right. I mean, there are different ways. Every dealership operates differently. Some buy here, pay here will start reporting from day one.
Right away.
Some bigger buy here, pay here dealerships, like they report straight to the credit bureaus. Some other buy here, pay here dealerships will do what Jackson just said. They will wait a few months until the accounts get sold to a bank, to a financial institution, and that's when it's going to start reporting to the credit, to your credit. Some other buy here, pay here lots might not ever do it. They just don't sell the account and don't report to the credit. So in that case, it's not gonna have an effect in your credit because they will never report it. It will never get sold. So it's like you didn't even have that loan on your credit. You still have the financial obligations with because you sign a contract with the dealership, but it's not going to affect your credit in any way. I mean, it depends. These are things that you have to know when you're making a deal. These are things that you have to ask, the dealership when you're buying the car. Hey, how is this? I mean, if you really care about your credit, about getting your credit better, about what options you'll have in the future, if you care about everything, you'll ask these kind of questions. Hey, is this going to report to my credit? Yes, no, maybe. How is this going to affect it? Are you guys going to be selling the account? Right, I understand that it's not a common question because, like, are you selling the account? I think that's something that not many people know. You have to be in the industry, in the inside, to know that dealerships sell accounts, buy here, pay here accounts. But you know, if a dealership, it's truthful, they will tell you. They will tell you what it's going to happen, what could happen, all of those things.
Yeah. So buy here, pay here is definitely not. I mean, not bad. Like Ishmael said, and for some of the people, it's a necessity. It's a need, you know, because they have so many negative accounts on their credit and they cannot get approved for a regular loan through another lender and things like that. So maybe it's just their last option to actually finance a car if they cannot get approved through a regular or standard loan.
I think if someone it's thinking about buy here, pay here, it has to be because they cannot get approved through a lender or because they already have auto loans.
Correct.
Open auto loans.
It's not just for bad credit,
Right.
because we had a few customers that they
Yeah.
had actually pretty good credit, but they had 2 or 3 open auto loans, and the lenders, there's no way.
They wanted another
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Right. But so you have to sacrifice the main thing that you're gonna sacrifice, no matter where. If you go to a buy here, pay here lot, you're gonna pay high interest
High
rates.
interest.
It's gonna be 20% or higher. That's something that it's just because that's the incentive for a dealership to finance a vehicle, because
Yeah.
it's a lot of risk. If someone is going to a dealership to finance a vehicle because no one else, no bank, no financial institution will lend you the money, and the dealership will, you will expect that the dealership has some pretty good benefits, and
Right.
that benefits is that it's going to charge you a pretty high interest rate. So that's why I say at the beginning, it's a necessity, out of a necessity, that you would probably
Yeah.
consider a buy here, pay here, because that's, I think, not getting approved because you have open auto loans, that's a necessity too. So
Right.
it's something that you need.
So that's how a buy here, pay here can help you build or reestablish your credit. Eventually, like Ishmael said, depending on how the dealership that you're buying the vehicle from operates, but high probability that the account will get sold to a third party bank, and that's when they're gonna start reporting to your credit. Like Ishmael said, you're more than welcome to ask your dealership. Some might tell you, some won't tell you anything. But that's one of the things. It happens too with student loans, credit card debts, everything.
Right.
Everything here in the U.S. The U.S. it gets sold off, especially debts. Loans and all that kind. I have a student loan that it's been sold 4 times.
Yeah.
And it's current. The student loan is current, but I get an email, like random email, like I don't know, every year. Oh, your account is now, your loan is being owned by this new company, and it gets sold so many times.
Right.
I mean, it's still reporting. The account shows closed from the previous lender, and then it shows then transferred to a different lender. But yeah, I mean, it's very common.
Yeah.
It's
And
very common, and
I'm gonna try to explain a little bit to the people listening, like why that happens or how that happens. So the thing is, when you issue a loan like that, a pretty high interest loan, it comes with 2 things. It comes with pretty good returns, pretty good money that you will make out of that loan. In this case, the dealership. But it also comes with pretty high risk, because at any moment the person will stop paying the car, and you have to repo the car, spend money on that, spend money on repair, so all of those things. So why dealerships, why credit card companies, why the people that lend money sell the accounts, is because they just find the amount that they're comfortable with making the money and accepting that risk. So for some dealerships, it could be 6 months that you're willing to take that risk, and you made the money that you wanted to. So you're passing that loan to someone else, to another financial institution that will also take the risk at that
Right.
moment, and they will make the money. So it's just, a thing of risk, because if there was no risk involved, no one will sell the account. People will just keep it and keep getting those interests.
yeah.
But since there is risk involved, people sell it.
Yeah, totally. So, if buy here, pay here is your only option, I mean, don't be sad about it or against it. It might eventually help you, to reestablish your credit or something like that, So that's what we have for today.
Some people actually they look for it we had some customers that they
Oh,
asked
yeah.
for it. Do you report to the credit?
Yeah.
When are you gonna report to
Yeah.
the credit? Because they
They
want to. They are in the process of building the credit, and that's just one of the tools that they want to use.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah.
lend some money to their car loans and
That's
pay it
true.
off, and that will help. So yeah, some people can use buy here pay here to build their credit.
All right, guys.
I think. Are you want to leave, man?
No, man. No.
No. I think it's even better to use buy here pay here or any car loan even better than a credit card or something like that to build your credit. And the reason why I say this is because maybe having an auto loan will have more risk for the lender or something like that.
The credit line most likely is gonna be higher.
Right.
You know, like instead of getting like a $500 credit card, you're getting a $10,000 loan. It's a higher
and
credit
you have
line.
and you have an asset that it's depreciating. You have an asset that it's on the streets. So I mean, I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but I think, for example, if you have a loan on a house, that's a pretty safe loan. I'm not sure how much that's gonna help to your credit, because you cannot just take the house and steal it, for example.
Yeah.
But you could do that on an auto loan.
vehicle.
So I don't know if that has a factor in how it
Yeah.
helps your credit, because it's a riskier loan. I don't know.
No idea, but
I would
interesting
think so.
point. Yeah.
But yeah, that was the subject for today. Buy here, pay here is
It might help you
Yeah.
establish your credit.
could help establish your credit.
Yeah.
You have to ask the questions.
And here's the thing: if you find a good, reputable buy here, pay here dealership, it's really gonna put you in a really good spot. Maybe in a year or 2 years that you have the car, that you can trade it in. We know for a fact that a lot of buy here, pay here dealerships, they overprice the vehicles a lot. So that's why we do all these videos, so you can
Right.
be on the lookout. Yeah, you might not have the best options out there with a low credit or bad credit, but also make sure that you're not being taken advantage of. And that you're aware of what your payoff is. If you're getting a warranty, gap insurance, all those things. At least make sure that you know what you're paying for, how long you're gonna pay it for, because a lot of buy here, pay here dealerships, they try to make the numbers prettier, like a $300 payment for 70 months on a car that is only, I don't know, $10,000. Do the math. How much are you paying
Right.
for it?
It's just
Probably
a
like
little
3
bit
times.
of math that you have to do.
Yeah.
And questions, man. Ask the questions. Like, don't be ashamed. They're not gonna, because if you ask questions and the dealership gets mad, I mean, there's
Yeah.
something. I mean, the
I actually like when people ask questions, because I'm making sure that I'm doing my job properly and that they're understanding everything. Every time I sell a car, I tell them, do you have any question for me at the end?
Right.
And I go through the paperwork, as clear as possible. Some people pay more attention than others. But I ask them at the end, like, do you have any other question for me? Because I want to make sure they understand everything, But like I was saying, if you're able to find a good buy here, pay here dealership that, they sell you a good car with, decent numbers and all that, it's going to put you in a really good position to reestablish your credit. And maybe, a year or 2 years from the day you bought the car, maybe you can trade it in at the same dealership and buy a car through a lender.
We recently did it
Yeah.
with a customer.
Yeah. So, it's nice when you progress, I guess, and you're making good choices, that is just going to put you in a better spot, on I guess progressing in life. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just on building that credit.
Yeah,
which is so necessary.
All right, guys. We wanted to touch on that point, because buy here, pay here is good for people that need it. Just make sure you do it the proper way. Don't be desperate. Make sure you buy a car that is gonna be reliable. That's key. Make sure that you buying a car that is gonna stay running, because you need the car. If the dealership is willing to finance a warranty for you, that's even better. Because that's gonna give you some peace of mind that if something breaks down, you'll potentially be able to get it fixed without having to pay out of pocket.
Right. And one thing that if you're thinking about it, if you're gonna go to a buy here, pay here, and get a car, one thing that I'm gonna encourage you to look at is the price of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Because everybody, you're in a tough spot. You're making the money to thinking about your monthly expenses, thinking about how much it's gonna cost you every month, and in that moment, I mean, there's a lot of questions that you could ask. So you could forget about how much is the actual price of the vehicle, because if you see that, you will. I think that's the biggest indication if you're getting ripped off or not. If you go to a dealership and you're buying a Corolla or something like that, and you down the line you're seeing that it's gonna cost you $20,000, something like that, maybe there's something else, more to look at, like the example that we just saw recently.
Right.
It was a car that it just doesn't make sense for that car to cost that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that you're going to get the best price in the market, because, you're in that situation. You're trying to get a buy here, pay here vehicle, but you shouldn't be paying $20,000 for a 2006.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that, So that's just something to keep in mind.
So, feel free to ask any questions. If you're buying a car, any of the dealership, you can just call us or reach out to us and ask questions. Like, look, I'm looking at this car. This is what I've been given. Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? What should I do? Well, you guys are more than welcome to ask any question. We're always willing to help people out, and give them the best suggestion. So that's what we have for today, guys. Make sure you stay tuned, and we'll see you next week.